David Sadler. I'm the Director of Information Technology for Caroline County, as well as the project manager for several broadband expansion projects that we've seen throughout the years. This evening, we're here to discuss the VATI 2023 Caroline East project as well as BEAD. I'll share the agenda. Well, thought I would anyway. But tonight's agenda is kind of different from a normal agenda. We really don't have any business to discuss. I will say that this evening we are proud to have a couple of guests in the meeting that we don't normally see in here. First, we have from Western Caroline District. Is that correct, Mr. Black?
It is.
From the Western Caroline District, we have Supervisor Jeff Black. Since some of the areas that we're discussing tonight, or all of the areas in the Charlesburg area are in his district, we wanted to extend the invitation for him to be here. So as far as public information and freedom of information, we only have one supervisor present at this meeting, so this is not a board meeting. Also, we have a guest here with us, Mrs. Amber Johnson from IWISP. Amber, would you like to say hello?
Hi. Hello.
So Amber is the project manager for IWISP, which we'll get into that a little bit more as we get through this. So we'll go ahead and kick off the presentation. So tonight we're going to spend time talking about BEAD in Virginia, or the BEAD program. BEAD stands for the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. It's Virginia's opportunity to finish up the job on extending broadband access and also make long-term transformational investments into broadband affordability and adoption within the state of Virginia. With $1.48 billion in BEAD funds for Virginia, DHCD is finalizing the plans. And I guess that's still accurate, Amber. I guess the plans are pretty, the plans are mostly finalized from what I understand, but there's still some steps to go through.
There are still like some review processes that are happening, but the NTIA, the difference between BEAD and VATI is BEAD goes directly to the state, and then the state distributes the money. VATI money went to the state, and then the state distributed it to the counties, and then the counties distribute it from there. So they've kind of taken the county out, but the state has to go to the federal government and get it approved. And the federal government has approved the Virginia plan. And so now we're actually just in the planning stages, getting reviews, environmental reviews, and so forth on things.
So, as Amber mentioned, Caroline County is very much involved in the VATI projects. In VATI 21 and VATI 23, we actually had an East and a West project. So we were very much involved in that. We still are, as far as distributing funds and managing the project to make sure it stays under contract. So with BEAD, it's a little different. The localities did not have a lot of input as to which provider would be awarded. We just helped identify and make sure, made sure that the addresses that needed to be served by BEAD were identified. So we'll go a little bit further. So the BEAD program, it's a state-led initiative between DHCD and the broadband providers. Again, as Amber had mentioned, the locality is not involved in this, but it's designed to bring high-speed internet access to areas of the Commonwealth that are currently unserved or underserved and were not included in the previous broadband expansion efforts. This includes locations that may have been overrepresented by provider service maps, making them ineligible for prior state and local grant funding. So the area up in Charlesburg was one of those. As a matter of fact, it was an area that was overstated by a provider and shown as being served, which made it ineligible for VATI. Then, as the applications came in and VATI got started, the providers were required as a part of participation in VATI 23, they had to update their service area maps and provide the state with locations that they actually serve. When that came in, it left a huge hole, but at that point, the addresses had already been approved. The addresses in this area in Charlesburg had already been thrown out of the grant, and the grant was not under budget, so there was no way to actually go in and adjust the grant to cover those addresses. So it kind of left that area unserved, and it was not an oversight. It was just an overrepresentation by a provider that they offered service. So in Caroline County, BEAD focuses on basically two areas. At this time, it's focused on approximately 60 locations in the Charlesburg area and an additional 60 locations in the Bowling Green area. These locations were identified by Caroline County staff and confirmed by the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development. Proposed solutions have been developed for both areas to address the lack of reliable internet service.
Mr. Sadler, can I ask, do you mind if I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
What exactly, I thought that was a lot more locations than I thought we were originally talking about. I thought we were like just at a couple dozen. Where are these all on Partlow Road / Charlesburg Road? Is that where these houses are located, or is there other streets too?
Amber has a representation of a map that she's going to show us, but it's all near that. And so she'll get into that a little bit more, but 60 houses, it's a fairly tight, is that fair to say, Amber? It's a very tight location for 60 houses. It's not.
Yeah, well, it depends on how you look at it. It is Charlesburg Road, some of Anderson Mill, and then like the Lady Smith to Partlow Road. Is what we're covering. Yes, and it's 54 locations is the total. Okay,
so the actual number is 54. We were just working with approximation, but there is a small area of Anderson Mill that falls beyond what Comcast is currently serving. And we worked with Comcast to try to get service to one location that was right at the end of the line, and they were quoted a price of about $9,000 to extend a piece of coax about 300 feet, I believe it was. So there is an area that is going to be kind of, I guess that would be southwest of where Comcast stops, and it goes down to where the Verizon project picks up. So, and then Charlesburg Road, and then again, when you go up Partlow Road, there's some houses through there that are currently served by Comcast, and that's where those few houses at the end of Charlesburg Road near Spotsylvania County line were actually missed when we were identifying. But it is that almost like a horseshoe shape, Mr. Black, right in there that has houses. Now, 54 houses in some parts of Caroline County would be miles and miles of square mileage of area. But it is a fairly good concentration. I don't know how many per mile. Any idea, Amber?
It's about we're doing a total of, I think, 6 miles of infrastructure. So it's still not super dense. It is more dense than some areas, but it's not crazy dense.
So basically nine.
Verizon would not do it.
Yeah.
About 9 houses per mile. But your Charlesburg has a little bit more. like if you go on like the first half of it, but then the second half of it only has like 6. So it's an average kind of sort of thing. So it's not Lake Landor.
Oh yeah, I got you. My question, so David, once this gets in, or we get the funding for this, then we can say that every house that's out there is either being served by Verizon or iWisp, right? I mean, it's going to be like there's going to be no other houses that will be left behind, correct? I mean, have had the opportunity to be served by either Verizon or iWisp. Is that a correct statement?
In this area, or are you speaking?
I'm talking about the western, like basically everything west of Lake Landor. All the when we did the VATI grant, I guess what I'm saying is all of the like Anderson Mills, all of the Landor Bridges, Jericho Road. That's all kind of my district. Partlow Road, Ladysmith Road, all the side roads. They will all be served. The iWisp was just the last like 54 houses that have not had an opportunity to be served. Is that what we're saying?
I mean, as far
in that area,
as far as we can tell, and that's with multiple desktop reviews, information from FCC that came into us, and then Amber also would have received that same information.
Okay.
As far as we can tell, and that's desktop reviews as well as feet on the ground going out and riding these areas. So we've done everything possible. I know that Verizon is good to extend, their lines a little bit if they have to catch an additional house. So if there are holes in there, then they should be addressed by either iWisp or Verizon. But as far as we can tell, as far as the FCC can tell, as far as the state can tell, this should address all of those unserved houses. So
thank you.
iWisp in the past was primarily a wireless provider. Is that fair, Amber?
Yes.
The company is now deploying a symmetrical fiber to the home service. The symmetrical means the same speed up as the same speed down. It's where everything needs to go. Unfortunately, unless you have fiber to your home, then symmetrical fiber connections are difficult, or either any kind of symmetrical connection is difficult. There are some wireless solutions, but nowhere near the reliability or speed that the fiber to the home offers. So this evening we have Amber Johnson of iWisp, and she's here to discuss the iWisp project in Charlesburg. And as you've already heard, this is to address the 54 homes that were not really missed, but were excluded from the VATI grant to allow them the opportunity to have a connection. Now, when we talk about VATI or we talk about BEAD, it's important to know that we'll have a connection available to you. The grant subsidizes the providers to be able to afford to go into these lower density areas. We just heard 9 to 10 houses per mile in this area. Grant programs have subsidized areas in VATI 23 where the density was as low as 4 houses per mile or 3. So this is, while it doesn't meet the threshold of a company being able to go in on their own and do it, with some help from state and federal programs, we're able to address these lower density areas. So Amber, if you want to share your screen, I'll go ahead and kick it over to you.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna hit the share screen button. You have to stop sharing.
Yeah.
While he's working on like the stop sharing part of it, I'll give a little bit of background about iWisp. iWisp was started in 2009 by Sam Smith, my father. He started it off of Partlow Road as a wireless service provider. Plain and simple, he wanted high-speed internet. He figured out how to get it to his house. A neighbor saw it, and the neighbor said, well, if you can get it to my house, I'll help pay for it. And my dad said, well, I bet I could get it to this neighbor, to our street. And then within a couple of years, he had a few hundred customers. And within a couple of years after that, he had about 1,000 customers. And then in 2020, we deployed fiber to the home in Louisa County. And within 2 years, we had about 2,000 customers just ready to take advantage of our fiber internet. So we have history with wireless, and we are very knowledgeable in the wireless field, but we also now have 5 years experience with fiber technology and have become really knowledgeable of that. We have great staff and teams that have helped us really build up our network to be very reliable and sufficient to meet all the needs. This is our first time. The BEAD grant is our first grant opportunity. Everything we've done self-funded. And so we're really excited to do a grant opportunity so that we can expand faster and reach further. With that being said, we started fiber in Spotsylvania over in Partlow area by the Partlow post office, just down the street from Caroline. And we have already 1 gig service out there that we're serving 300 homes currently. So we're excited to take that and bring it down Partlow Road into Ladysmith and target Childsburg and some of Spotsylvania as well in that path. As David said, with the BEAD grant, we are covering the Childsburg area. And I'm going to share the screen, the DHCD's website. It will show you. I've also already put a link of the DHC website that anybody can use. You can go in there and kind of see which companies are going where and so forth. So if there's anybody who's looking, hey, Bowling Green, who's covering our area, you can see that. So this is, hopefully you guys can see this. Can you guys see it okay?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the Caroline County area. IWIS has all these pink dots are the locations that have been targeted by the BEAD funding to be taken care of. These are considered unserved locations. Unserved means that they don't have any opportunity for internet service. They're also underserved, which means their only opportunity is something under the threshold set by the FCC, which I think currently is 100 megabytes download and 25 upload. So all of these locations, this down here is the Caroline area. If you look up at the top, right here, this is Partlow Road that follows down here. And our plan is actually to continue our trek from Spotsylvania Partlow Road down Partlow Road all the way to Anderson Mill. And we'll come down and circle into Childsburg. So we'll have a service loop. The intention of that is that if there is a line cut, even in that 4-mile circle, that anybody won't lose surface. We'll continue also down Anderson Mill to target these homes as well. And we'll take those and we'll actually circle into Trivets and go up Country Road. Even though we'll be building on top of Verizon, once again, it helps us build that service loop since we're already taking Country Road for the Spotsylvania part. So we're really excited about this area. Now, some things that are important to know when it comes to the BEAD funding is there are a lot of when it comes, I'm sure you guys are familiar, when it comes with grants, there's a lot of preparatory steps that take place. But we are hopeful that we'll be able to start construction this summer, if not the late summer, early fall. We're right now handling the environmental review on where we're doing all of our construction, make sure we're not going into any environmental areas, any historical areas, Native American lands, and so forth, that and following kind of the laws that meet those expectations. But to help keep people updated, they can also go to our website and check their things. If you go to iwest.net, you can learn about our company, see reviews, find out what sort of services we have available, and so forth. But you can also go in and check your address. I haven't updated Caroline County yet, but if you type in an address, I'm going to say 3 Sorrow. I'm going to say an address here. If you type in your address, it'll check, and it's going to know, of course, it's going to say it's not found. Let me give you a different address.
So that page will be updated as you get the final addresses. I have one question.
As we get the final addresses,
Yeah.
yes.
And so I do have a question. I've noticed, like in the rest of the county, the dots that you have indicated on there, which is 54 in Caroline County, a lot of the locations that were listed as non-serviceable addresses by the FCC in their map end up being non-residential or business. For example, we had a business in Milford listed as non-serviceable, and that business has stacks of lumber throughout the yard, and each stack of lumber was also identified as a non-serviceable location by the FCC. So I would caution you, if you haven't already, and especially since this is your first foray into grant funding, you may want to definitely put some boots on the ground before you start, because you may end up with,
that's already, all of those things have already taken place with the grant, with this grant. We've already done like the boots on the ground, made sure each location was an actual location. In addition, no matter what, we build our network that if a house is built where that stack of lumber is, it's going to have access to service.
So you'll make an available port or connection available to every address that's been identified.
Every address will have an available port and be able to be connected. A good example is I'm building my house right now, and it happens to be where Verizon had the VATI grant. And I had to go through about a 2-month process for them to get their engineering to figure things out to see if that was a serviceable address, because they didn't do those steps. They didn't say, hey, this lot, this lot, this lot, this lot. That's not the approach we take. If it's a property, then we've already planned for it. Now it might change when it comes to install costs or things like that in 5-10 years. But in regards to our design, we design it for expansion.
Now, in RDOF funding, which was another federal program, there was a requirement that for 5 years, I believe it is, any new locations that show up have to be served. Is that the same with BEAD, or is there anything that addresses that?
It is not the same with BEAD, but there's strong encouragement when it came to selection process.
So what as a county and as this committee is the one that considered and drafted the Caroline County Plan for Universal Coverage, which we then submitted, and it was approved by Mr. Black and the rest of the board. So, we want to make sure that we're not only getting everybody now, but that they have an option. One advantage that I've seen is that if you live in a coax area, like Breezeline in the Bowling Green area or Comcast in the Ladysmith area, the ability to serve 300 or 400 or 500 or 1,000 feet from the road becomes more difficult. Whereas fiber gives you more options. You can go further from the road to a new house that popped up without having to put in additional equipment, for example. So that's our hope. That will continue and as we go to expand. So sorry for interrupting you, but you go right ahead.
No, you're okay. That's a good lead into like kind of our pricing and some of our policies. iWest is a small local company, and we know how hard it is to get internet in the rural area. It took us 15 years to get fiber to my dad's house. Like, so we know that it's tricky, expensive, and hard. And we also know that it's not necessarily fair that because I bought a house and it happens to be 500 feet off the road, I have to spend an extra 10 grand to get it over to get connected to the internet. And so that's why we have focused on a fiber infrastructure, is because we can go the extra mile to get to somebody's house and them not lose quality of service or have extensive costs. Some of our policies is with the BEAD funding, there will be no installation cost for customers. As long as they install within the first year, there's no installation cost. After the first year, we only charge $150 installation cost, and we'll work. And it doesn't matter how far it is from the road or any of those things. We'll get it to your house for that cost. So that's like an important thing to us. We're not going to tell somebody because they live further, they have to spend more money, and we're not going to rush people into making a decision. We, of course, want people to get installed as quickly as possible, but they have time to make a choice and decide whether or not it's something that they need. So within the first year, there will be no installation cost for locations. And then, and that's the year once we finish. So for a whole year after we finish, there will be no installation costs. And then after that, we only charge $150 flat fee install costs. We also do no contract. We don't hold anybody to a contract. If something comes up, they move, they decide that it's not for them, whatever it might be, there's no contracts. It's a month-to-month service. They can cancel at any time. We currently offer 2 service packages. We have our basic package, which is $60 a month, and it's 150 up and down load speed. Just like you mentioned before, we have symmetrical services. So 150 megabytes up and down. And then our elite service is our 1 gig service, which is priced at $120 a month currently, but with the BEAD funding, it will be down to $80 a month for 1 gig service. Once again, up and down symmetrical speeds. And we're actually working in the direction that hopefully by the end of 2026, we'll be offering 2 gig service as well.
Amber, do you mind if I ask you a question there?
Sure.
Yeah. So this sounds really good. What did you say the first service was? Like your lesser, not the 1 gig, but the lesser one?
That is our basic package. It's $60 a month. It's 150 megabytes up and down.
So would that stay the same with the BEAD funding?
Yeah, that will stay at $60 a month. And
so the other one will go to 80. The next question I have is, and maybe I'm because I'm not the tech person, but like in here we have, because I live in Lake Landor, and we have Xfinity in here, and so is it typical? Isn't like something with Xfinity? Is it a situation where like the upload speeds are much slower than download, or is it vice versa?
That is typical with Xfinity. David was talking about this. It's typical with Xfinity because they use coax. Coax doesn't have the same technical abilities to do upload speeds. So the symmetrical speeds are only things that you can do with fiber, pretty much. And so you'll have 1 gig download and 1 gig upload. So
this is even better. So basically, these people are going to get a better service than the residents of like the subdivisions of Lake Landor or Lake Caroline.
Yes, they will.
That's
and even at the basic package of 150 down, 150 up, that upload speed is still 4 times faster than what the fastest Comcast connections are getting.
Yeah.
So upload speed. Now, Amber, I've got a question, not to put you on the spot, but I've got an answer for it if you don't. In these areas that are covered currently, or not covered, the areas that you've been awarded, a lot of customers have found it necessary to go to Starlink. So I'm sitting at home and I've got Starlink. Why should I go to iWitness?
Well, first thing I'm going to tell you is that you're going to have better customer support. Starlink is an online format. It's only online. I actually was trying to help somebody get set up with Starlink, and we both were getting very frustrated because we couldn't find anything for her to get support. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is your customer support. IWISP is a local company with local support. We hire locally. We are family ran mostly. And so when you need support, you're going to get support, whether on the phone, somebody coming to your house, whatever. In addition, the next thing is that Starlink is a satellite service. And so you do suffer from different lag times. It doesn't have the same ping speed, which is hard to describe, but it can have some lags. Basically, Starlink works where it's like a little satellite that's watching another satellite. And then when it needs to reset, it has to readjust to another one. It works fairly quickly, but a lot of people who use a lot of internet might not see that same thing. The other thing is that the more people on Starlink, the less abilities it has. It starts to get clogged down and overwhelmed. That's the big conversation in the tech world right now, is that Starlink can't handle giving internet to everybody. Just like with our cell phone service, when there's a major emergency, everybody's calling and then they can't get through the cell phone service because it gets bogged down. Same thing happens. The more people who are on Starlink, the less of bandwidth that's available for people to use. And the last thing is you're going to have a better price point when it comes to our service. I mean, the basic Starlink, I think, is $100 a month right now, and that's 100 to 200 download speed. I think they have a lower upload speed. So you're just going to have a better price point when you get fiber. It's more reliable. It's going to be in the ground. Ours is 100% underground. So you don't have to worry about the satellite falling off or repointing or any of those things.
And
Amber, this is Jason. First of all, David, if you can let me in the meeting on my computer, I can switch over to that too. But the other thing is with Starlink, you are going to have the difference in speed is going to be phenomenal. So as you have everything is symmetrical. So you got 100 up, 100 or 150 up, 150 down. Right now, Starlink is running right around 200 down, which is good, but they only have the current upload speed is about 30 megabytes. So it's very similar to what Mr. Black has through Comcast as far as that process, where they're limited. Now, Starlink has a worse ping time out to the internet, and ping is basically how long it takes your computer to go out to another server somewhere else in the world and responds back to you. Starlink is usually right around 30 to 40 millionths of a second, which is fast, but fiber is right around 4 to 5 milliseconds. So there's a huge difference in that time. So
it's from the time you click to the time the page starts download.
Right.
And so that is a huge difference.
So, and that also helps you out in like Zoom meetings, things like that. That definitely helps you out. Gaming, it helps you out. And also surfing of the internet, it helps out because it's how long your request from your computer reaches out to that server, tells it I need to get that information, and it starts serving you.
And go ahead, Mr. Black.
I just had a quick question. Amber, just kind of off track a little bit, but same thing. Does your company still do the wireless at all, or is it just you've gone all fiber?
We do wireless occasionally. We're actually looking at expanding our wireless to help like some locations that don't have it. The big thing we do with our wireless is this is kind of a unique feature that we do that nobody else does. We do whole property Wi-Fi. And so when somebody gets gets fiber to their home, we use our wireless technology to take it to their barn, to take it to their sheds, to take it to their dock, wherever, which is nobody else does that. Plain and simple. Yeah. Nobody else does that. But we help people be able to use their whole property for security cameras, for work, whatever it might be. So we use it there. So yeah.
And the secondary question, I don't mean to interrupt or get off track. The secondary question I have is, do you guys have any plans, or do you have any plans whatsoever to like go into areas that are like served, that are already served as competition, or is it just right now you're just trying to hit the BEAD area?
we're hitting the bead area, and we will be hitting areas that are already served kind of as part of the bead project. Like I said, we'll hit some of like Anderson Mill and Trivets Road. We're actually going down Shockey Lane because that's where we get access to our dark fiber. So there's areas that we will build on top of kind of in the beginning. As we grow, we might stretch more. It's going to also just be about the demand.
Okay.
If people want an alternative option, we currently are in an area in Louisa where now there's an alternative option, and some people like having a choice. And we believe that competition drives performance. And so if people want something else, then we'll look at like expanding more.
Okay. Thank you.
So one question that I get all the time, Mr. Black, is, for example, in the lakes and some of those areas where people may be less than happy with their current provider, as far as what the county is concerned and the state is, these grants are not about funding competition. In fact, they're allowed a small
They're not
percentage.
supposed to. They're not supposed to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. No, I get it. And the first priority, absolutely 100%, because I tell some of the, because exactly what you said, Mr. Sadler, is, there are some people in the lake that say, it's the same thing, like on a major holiday when everyone's using the internet at the same time, it can get really laggy or slow or whatever if you're streaming. But I tell people all the time that live in the lakes, there are people that still they have to go to Starlink or something that are out in the western part of the district. So I just want them to understand that. So I get it. I think the people at the lake would definitely welcome competition at some point down the road. That's all.
And when it comes to that, just like Dave was saying, like it is going to be more of an investment point for another company to make it. The government money is not meant to compete. And so it's meant to serve. And so like for us, if we decided to go into someplace, we would, hey, we could get, if we could get 30 to 40% of people, then we'd go in there kind of thing. So.
And that's the problem. You have X percentage of people that are going to take internet either way.
Right.
When you have a second company come in, they're now splitting that take rate. So everybody's profit is down, and it takes longer.
Makes
for the
it
company
harder.
it takes now the grants, VATI, and I'm sure BEAD is the same way. They will allow a small percentage. I think it's less than 10% of the project can be overbuilt in VATI. But I'm not sure what that, so overbuilt, I mean, build across your property, even though you've got a connection to get to somebody on the other side of you that can't. So it's very, very tight and very limited, as far as that's concerned. Now, what we want to do is get a single connection to everybody in the county. And then at that point, if we can get the numbers up and our subscription rates are up, or our take rate is high enough, then it makes sense for somebody maybe to come in and hit some of the higher concentrations and offer some competition. The BEAD program, as I said earlier, is a program that's totally between the provider and the state, or the provider and the state, which is funded by federal funds. So we are just totally out of the process as far as that's concerned. Now, Amber, one more quick question. One of the quick things, or one of the hot topics now that everybody's hearing, everybody complains that the cost of their internet goes up every year a lot. And the majority, what people don't understand is that the majority of that price increase is based on the television service that's also being delivered with their internet. So a lot of companies now are coming out with 3, 4, 5-year price guarantees on internet. Is that anything that you're considering? I know that, like for myself, I just switched from Xfinity TV and everything to just Xfinity Internet, and I have a 5-year price guarantee where I will not see an increase in the price of my internet connection for 5 years. Because what we're seeing is the cost to deliver internet and access doesn't really go up as much as the cost of, working out contracts with television networks to be able to deliver their television service. So the majority of the increase that people see is because the cost of their TV service
Yeah.
going up.
So,
is
yeah.
the price guarantee anything that you guys are considering?
We have considered it. We haven't really put it in. This is what I will tell you. 5 years ago when we started fiber, our basic package was 50 megabytes up and 30 megabytes down. It was $75 a month. 2 years, and our elite package was 100 megabytes down and 50 megabytes up, $150 a month. 2 years later, we went to 100 megabytes up and down speed for our basic and 300 up and down speed for our elite. We didn't change our prices. We just raised our speed bandwidth. And then a year ago, we changed our prices. Well, actually, I guess it's been almost 2 years. About a year and a half ago, we changed our prices to $60 a month and we raised our bandwidth for our basic. And then our elite went to 120. So lowered to 120 and increased up to 1 gig. So the thing we tell our customers is so far we have never raised our prices. We only raise our bandwidth, and we just continue to lower our prices.
So you're seeing that as a trend as well. The cost to deliver.
No. I will be very clear about this. Part of this is competition driven, because what for us, our experience, like internet still costs money. All of our expenses raise about 5% every year. And we don't offer TV packages, but things like bandwidth raises, the electrical bills raise, everything raises about 5 to 10% every single year. And so we still see price increases, but a lot of our prices and our packages are competition driven. And so when people see something, we want to be competitive to that. We get a good enough take rate that we can meet those expectations. And as long as we keep with that, we'll stick with that. And we'll stick with those price points. We never have an intention to raise our prices. If we ever do a price lock, we'll do the same thing as anywhere else where we'll put it into a contract.
Well, okay. I've got one quick question, Amber. Do you guys have like equipment rental fees, or are there any other fees for any of the equipment or anything like that that is used to actually serve to the customer?
Great question. We do currently have a $10 router rental fee that includes our service plan. So if anybody rents our router, then any service calls are already included in that. So that's $10. It's a whole home mesh system. So we can install as many units as it takes to make that whole house have internet. And it only costs $10 for the whole home. So no additional cost on top of that. That is something that will be wrapped up into the BEAD funding though. So that will be part of the $60 package. So it won't be, when it comes to the BEAD funding, we will actually take that fee out and just include it in our package. If people choose not to use our routers, they won't have that fee, but we will not be giving a discount if they don't use our routers. It'll just be part of our package.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Black.
Just have a couple of questions. One of the things is you had mentioned earlier that this video go out on social media for like people to see, and I greatly get it. But one of the ironic things is, well, some of the people
they need internet.
Yeah, they need
internet, and that's why that's why early on we decided to go out on YouTube, because most people can.
Right. No, I get it. But I was just wondering if we, at the end of the meeting or something like that, we can get together and maybe you can talk to Amber too of like some of the places, because on election day for the special election for the treasurer, I was out there all day and I had several people from that area ask me about internet. But I know those people go to certain businesses that are out there, and certain churches that are out there. Maybe the old school, kind of piece of paper thing to kind of reach some of them. I mean, I know some of them will have relatives that have, the internet so they can see it or they can tell them about it. So I'm not saying but I'm just saying at the same time, maybe we can have some sort of information that's put out there where, when they go to a church or something, that they will see, we can post it like, hey, it's going to be available in your area at this time. And this is the business to call, and this is what it's all about. These are the roads it's going to serve, that type of thing, just to get information out so people are starting to get ready for it because people are curious.
So in the VATI projects, we're under contract with the state, and we're required to assist in attaining the target goal of take rate in those projects. But because we're a good partner and we're really happy to see IWIS come in and help those people, I've extended whatever help we can do with this project to try to get a good take rate so that we have good partners that are strong and available to help us out in situations like this.
Okay.
And I will say the other thing, by us trying to get each area of the county covered, what we're hoping is that once, say, IWIS comes in and gets a good footprint in there and gets those customers, if they choose to go out and start competing with the other providers, we've got a good selection of providers that are now in the area that are close to being able to compete with those areas. Their plant may run right in front of for example, the gate at Lake Landor. So it makes more sense for a provider that's already got the fiber in place to be able to go in and compete. That cuts that transport fiber, which is fiber that's very expensive, because most of the time on transport fiber, you don't have subscribers along the way to help pay the cost of that. You just have a piece of fiber running. So you already have fiber right outside the gate. I was going to be just up the street for a couple miles. So while the county cannot, and we're prohibited in our contract to try to do anything with competition, putting those good, strong companies that have a lot of options available to them in areas where it can then make sense for them as the county continues to grow, then they could look to expand. So that's our hope and the hope of this committee. And we've discussed this quite a bit as a committee in the past too. So
I've just got one last question, then I'll be done and I'll listen to the rest. I guess the big question, and probably Amber and maybe David, you guys can help out, is the money that's coming from the state for this BEAD program. We've been hearing a lot about it, and I know, Amber, you guys are probably relying on that money to help you. What is where are we with that in that process of the state or the federal government releasing that?
Okay, so I can't answer that. We have not signed the contract with the state yet because they're doing their environmental reviews first. All the areas we had to submit our preliminary plan for construction, and those go through the environmental and historical reviews. And once that is completed, then we'll be signing contracts. And we're in the process of some of the pre-contract work already. So it's moving. There's two options for ISPs to collect the funding. And one is just like, here's a whole big lump sum of money. And one is to get it in kind of a draw fashion. We will be getting it in a draw fashion. So with every step, we get so much funding throughout the project. Our project is, we have a small project. We have the 23015 zip code for both Spotsy and Caroline County. And it is being treated as one project. So as we complete 10% and then 30% and so forth, we get X amount of money. So, but currently, we're hoping to be signing contracts in, I think, May is the anticipated date for contract signing. And we hope to start construction in June is our fingers crossed timeline. Weather, permitting, and things like that are things that contribute to that. But we hope that moves quickly.
Do you have like a final goal of 100% completion at what month?
We hope to be completely done with our infrastructure work and like main fiber line by June of 2027. Okay. It should take us about 12 months to do the whole project. Once again, this is all like pending on
Gotcha. No, we
weather and road work. Yeah. So 12 to 18 months is our goal.
Are there any other questions for Amber? I think I've already kept her longer than I promised to keep her, so I don't want to. if there are no other questions,
I'll add on to as well, like to like Jeff's question about like communicating to people. We will be putting out mailers. We also go around before we start construction. We of course would love all of the help we can get from Caroline County in regards to like encouragement and take rate and stuff like that. But we do make sure that we communicate with our, basically these are our neighbors. So we do make every effort to communicate with them and keep them up to date. We will probably have some sort of push to get people pre-registered. And that's where we would love to have the county support. But that we probably won't do that until we like have permits in hand and know that we're starting construction.
Amber, if you want to reach out to me, you've reached out to me in the past, but if you want to reach out to me after this is over and we can talk, I can talk to you about some ideas and so forth so that we can work together on this.
Okay.
And Amber, we'll also be at the county fair.
Great.
So we'll have a table set up there. So
yeah, I can either get you stuff or would love to hang out with you guys and help answer any questions that anybody might have and so forth.
But we'll make sure we stay in contact as far as, working together. Because again, while we were the localities were cut out of this process, we want to be here as a good partner for you and help this project be successful.
Well, we want to be a good partner as well, so that any other possible funding that comes up, you guys know to reach out to us and look at us as an opportunity to use in the future. So,
and I can definitely assure you that Mr. Black is an advocate for having good internet service for all of his constituents, and he's been very involved in the process. And we've made really good progress in Caroline, and it's all because of the support that the Board of Supervisors gave early on. It's not cheap to do what we've done, but hopefully
well, I will tell you, you guys have done better than some surrounding counties. So good job.
so would you say it's fair when people, and Mr. Black has heard this, that I moved in from Fairfax, and when I lived in Fauquier County, everybody in Fauquier County already had a broadband. How come we don't have it here?
Right.
And that's just not the case, because we see the Hanovers, the Spotsylvanias, the Staffords, the localities are fighting to address this. And in fact, thanks to the early support from the board, we've got to jump on it. So I think we're making good progress.
Say the counties that we have seen and that have worked and that we've worked with, I mean, Caroline has definitely been the most impressive in the surrounding area, especially for the 95 corridor, because there are some counties that just haven't done the things, that just simply haven't done the things.
Amber, I would like to definitely, on behalf of the Broadband Advisory Committee and Mr. Black and the board, I would definitely like to thank you for coming in this evening and giving us as much of your time. I know it's difficult, especially when you're on the road traveling, but again, thank you very much for your time this evening. And
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We won't expect you to have to sit around and listen to the updates on the rest of the projects, but we will give a short update. So thank you, Amber.
No problem. Thank you. Talk to you guys all again.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right. So we'll go ahead and try to kick this off. And Mr. Black, you're welcome to stay if
No, I think I'm gonna. Do you need me for anything, or because I've got another phone calls to make as far as the polar bear plunge is concerned. So if you need me for anything, I will stay. Otherwise, I think I'm going to sign off. That was really, really helpful, though.
All right, and if you want to, why don't you just go ahead and give us a plug for the polar bear plunge?
Oh yeah, polar bear plunge is coming up this Saturday. So we're doing up the final touches, and there's 9 organizations, so we're pretty happy about it, and we're excited. So hopefully people come out and jump in the water for a cause that they really enjoy.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Black, for taking time out of your schedule to come in. But like I said, you are definitely an advocate for internet for your people, and so we wanted to make sure that you were aware of the effort that's going on to get that taken care of, sir.
No, thank you guys. I mean, seriously, I know I haven't been to in and out a lot of these meetings, but I do know that you guys have worked your butts off. So thank you to everyone on this committee. I mean, you guys are the ones who set it all up for us. So thank you guys, seriously, because we are in a lot better shape than surrounding jurisdictions, and it's because of you guys. So thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Black.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right. So what we'll do then is we'll just go through a real quick update on the rest of the project. So right there, we're talking about an area, really not a VATI project, but an area up in Charlesburg. So let's talk about the rest of the county real quick. Let me share the screen here. And we'll just run through this real fast, try to keep it as close to the 1 hour as we possibly can. All right. So what you're seeing there are the areas that are currently open for sale. So if you live in any of those areas that are shown on the map, and these are mostly south of Route 207, 301, and east of 95 and west of the county line. So those areas that you see in the map are currently open for sale. So again, if you need to know the areas, that's GCRO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 13, 15, and 16. So all of those areas are completed. There's the number 410-490-6082 for Reggie Spivey with Breezeline Sales. And then further into 23. So these are the areas that are south of 207, 301, and the areas that we just discussed that are not open as of tonight. Due to weather, we have experienced about a 3 to 3.5 week time delay in the project. And it's not just because the contractors do not want to work in the snow. It's because VDOT, when the state of emergency was issued for the state, VDOT immediately pulled all of their permits to work on the road. So the companies didn't have a choice. They were told they had to get off the road. So at noon on Friday before the storm hit, they were told to get off the road, and they were allowed back 3 days ago. Initially, it was almost, they were talking the 22nd of February before they were going to allow them back on. But thank goodness they allowed them back on about a week or two or before that. Locating crews that have to go out, mark the areas before any construction were just allowed back on today. So, of course, the areas have to be marked before construction can take place. Any markings that were down before the snow has now been washed away, so they kind of have to start that from scratch. Right now, we're expecting about a 3.5 to 4 week delay on some areas. But as you're going to see, a lot of the areas are kind of building ahead anyway. So it's not just add a month to it. It's a little more complicated than that. We'll see as we go on if we're able to keep it at several weeks or maybe a month. But just to give you an idea of how these areas. So right now the areas that are shown on blue and are kind of spread out over behind Carmel Church, down south Signboard Road, down below the fairgrounds, 301 down to the county line, and then GCP 17, which is Frog Level Road from Moore's Mill Road out to the county line. Those areas are all waiting on one power connection. Rappahannock Electric Co-op is now the holdup for these areas. So it's actually 5 areas. So as soon as Rappahannock Electric Co-op can get power to a meter, we can start releasing these areas. So stay tuned because within the next month to 2 months, these areas, GCV 9, 10, 12, and 17, and I believe 14, yes, 14 as well, as shown on the map, will hopefully release within the next 2 months. And maybe even sooner than that. So just stay tuned. We'll get updates on the website if it's a major release. This is going to be well in excess of 600 homes when these drop. So within the next 2 months, these areas will drop. Again, another area affected by that same power supply that we're waiting on from Rappahannock Electric Co-op, GCV 8, which is an area down south of Route 30, down to the county line, but it's kind of south and kind of east of 301 and Route 2, as shown on the map here. That is looking like maybe an additional month over top of the other 4 areas. So that would be 5 areas within the next 2 to 3 months that'll be released. All of these, as well as this area. So stay tuned. These areas will start dropping. Just know that they were already scheduled to drop, but the 3.5, 4 week delay that we've seen due to weather has definitely delayed this area dropping. So we'll go through the rest areas real quick. 18, 19, and 20. Now we're north of that 207, 301 corridor. Still projected to complete by the end of May of 2026. Again, I have that highlighted in yellow because as we get closer and we see what the actual delay is going to cost us, this may move by a few weeks. We're also not out of the winter. So another storm is not totally out of the question at this point. So just keep watching these channel updates and we'll keep you right on informed on the release dates of these areas. GCV 21, 22, 23, and 24 still projected to complete by July of 2026. Again, that's highlighted. That date may move. If it moves, it won't be by much. The further out we get into these areas from right now, the less impact it'll have by the storm. So we're still projecting July of 2026. And then the final 2 areas, GCV 25 and 26, are projected to complete by the end of August of 2026. And then that would complete the project. Our next broadband update meeting is scheduled for Monday, March the 16th at 7 p.m. Additional areas may be released prior to this date. If they are, they'll be announced as a broadband update on the YouTube channel as well as the county website. And again, as always, we highly encourage you to like this presentation tonight and subscribe. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you will get notification if an area drops. So that's important. We're just trying our best to get the word out while working to get the job done on schedule. So we have seen a little bit of a movement in the timeline because of the storm, but at this point, it's still projected to go complete before the end of the project. So just stay tuned for updates as far as those releases. We're kind of loosely following the agenda there, Mr. Barlow. And as far as I can see, I believe that's all the entries that we had on the agenda. Does anyone have any questions? We covered a lot of mileage tonight. And again, I really would like to thank IWIS for coming in. And we're really looking forward to getting that project because we know that there are people in those areas that need internet. And we're excited that they were able to step up and answer the call to get internet to those addresses. Are there any other questions from anybody?
I don't think so, David. Maybe next month, since we are approaching an hour at this point, maybe next month I will try to put together something since I will have had BreezeLine for some time, kind of go over the what my experience has been and also what my bill looks like. So,
and I will say too, Jason, that, you know, part of our concern here is the negative press that any provider gets on social media about service being bad, reliability being bad. And because of that, we've taken extra steps this time to watch and monitor that. And Jason is one of those people that are monitoring the reliability of the new BreezeLine stuff that's going in. And
I can go over that real quick if you want to, David.
Yeah, why don't you hit that real quick, and then hopefully we can get out of here, in another couple of minutes.
So on Friday, this past Friday, I got a notification from my network here at my house letting me know that my primary internet had gone down, which is BreezeLine. And by the time I read the text message on my phone, it was back up. And come to find out, it was actually a patch being
Recording stopped.
To my actual modem here at the house. So it was not actually a downtime. So I was down for about 5 seconds and it was back up. So ever since the beginning of December, which is when I had this actually installed, I have had an outage time of 5 seconds. And every morning, my network runs a speed test against the BreezeLine network. And does not use the BreezeLine software or anything. This is a separate networking utility that I use, or a networking appliance. And the 1.5 gig over 1.5 gig that I have signed up for, almost every single morning, I am getting actually close to 1.5 to 1.6 gigs over 1.5 to 1.6. There have been a couple mornings that I've had less than that, and the least that I've actually seen is about 1.2 gigs. And come to find out, there were patches being downloaded on my network during that time. So I was able to explain those away after doing the research on it. The internet has been extremely stable. Ping times averaging around 4.3 to about 8 millionths of a second. On an average. So we are keeping up with the ping time also. So that is the update on the network here. I can also give information on other people that I've had install or had BreezeLine installed in this area. That one gentleman said that he had been to many hotels in his travel, and he never thought he would have internet like that out here at his house. And he says the internet far surpasses what he has had in any hotel at this point in time. So he is extremely happy and has, I think when we counted it, it was close to 15 to 20 different devices connected to his internet at any given point in time. So it can definitely handle it, and we are seeing it extremely stable at this point.
All right. Well, it's a good report, and it's just a little bit of fact-based evidence to kind of disagree with some of the statements that we see on the internet. Because I could tell you, my provider is a very large company that actually owns a television network. We won't say a name, but I have not seen that kind of reliability since December. So anyway.
Well,
all right.
And I will say one quick thing, David, and then I promise I'll shut up too, and we can finish up the end of the meeting. But the one thing to also keep track of is a lot of the complaints that we've been seeing are existing BreezeLine customers that are on the older version of the network. The system that is currently being put in is a new KLX system, has a different modem, has a different converter for fiber, and it's fiber all the way to the premises, versus a lot of the other older version is coax running to the premises from a fiber to the pole. So I know BreezeLine is doing projects to work on potentially replacing a lot of the older network with the newer fiber to the premises. Again, that's not part of this project, so I can't speak too much to that, other than I have heard that there have been some people that have been converted over from coax running to their house to fiber. I can't speak to that because it's not part of this project, but I can tell you that the new network that they have is extremely stable and worthwhile. So is there anything you wanted to add to that, David? Or
I mean, the good thing is that the majority of, all the fiber for the existing customers that are on the coax at the end of the system is already in place. So that's a conversion of existing plant. So that seems to be going well. If you as a BreezeLine customer haven't already gotten a call, you probably will be to switch you over to the new system. And I think it would be safe for us to say that would definitely be recommended if you have that option, because you get the symmetrical speed, you eliminate one of the weaker points, which is the conversion from fiber back to coax to come into your house. So anyway, all right. Are there any other questions from anybody? It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of people left in here. John, you got any questions?
No, not particularly.
What about you, Jeff? Boy, the video guy, got anything? All right. Well, Mr. Barlow, that completes
there's
my part of the agenda. So
yeah, there's one more thing. As far as I know, our next meeting will be on March 16th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. Does anybody have any issues with that, or does that date work for everybody, date and time?
Works for me.
Hearing no objections, we'll just say our next meeting will be March 16th at 7 p.m. via Zoom, and we can adjourn.
Thank you, John, for coming in. Y'all have a good evening. Take care, and we'll see you soon.
You guys too.
Thanks. Bye.